Hey everybody, it's a beautiful Sunday outside. Makes it a little easier to be isolated when you can have your windows open and your balcony door open, and yeah, it just makes it a lot easier. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about trades. I saw a video where they listed the top 5 worst trades since the year 2000, and I kind of didn't agree with what, not all of their choices, and definitely not in the order that they were given, so I thought I'd do my own. I looked through the list, and I thought there'd be a lot more trades to choose from, and there weren't that many. I've got a list of 7, and we'll go right through them. So this is our trades that I didn't like, and I'll explain why, I guess, that were made since the year 2000 by different GMs. The first one, I'm not sure, and first one's from the year 2000. I'm not sure who's the GM then. Anyway, so we'll start right away. Now, this first one, I mean, unless you're really... I don't know. For the younger kids, you probably won't know who this guy is, but he was a pretty good defenseman, pretty solid, and they got absolutely nothing from him, and they traded him to Boston. So we got on June 30th. No, I have them wrong here. No, starting on this one from February 21st. I got here 2000 or 2001 because on the internet and the list, the website I saw, they listed it both years, same date. So I don't know which year. I don't remember exactly. Now, we got, from Boston, Patrick Traverse, who, yeah, you never heard of. That's because I don't think he did anything anywhere. And we gave up Eric Weinrich, who was a pretty decent defenseman. Check him out. I don't have time to do all their stats, but he was a pretty decent defenseman. I don't remember if he was third pairing or second pairing, but probably second pairing. And he had 2 more good seasons, not in Boston. I think he went to Philadelphia after that. And I just thought, you gave up an NHL defenseman and you got back somebody who I don't believe ever played in the NHL. So that's number 7. Not a heavy-duty bad, but number 6, you might surprise people, I guess. We gave up. Okay, well, I'll tell you who I got first. That's right. We got, on June 17th, 2010, trade with St. Louis, we got Lars Eller. And Ian Schultz, who never went and did anything. So I'm not going to write it. It takes too long. We gave up Jaro Halak. Now, Halak was probably going to get traded, and I get that. I just thought that when you consider the 2 players, we gave up a lot in Halak, who was a really good goalie, and in return, Eller, who was a decent player, but I mean, he wasn't a star player like they were hoping for, so I just think that qualifies. Number 5, and it's a guy that's with us right now. I think a lot of people might agree with me here. June 15th, 2017, a trade with Tampa Bay. We got Jonathan Drouin. And of course, everyone knows this trade. And we gave up, I'm just going to write M for Mikhail Sergachev. And the funny thing here on this one is there's a rumor, I think it seems like a legitimate rumor out there, not legitimate that Montreal might actually be thinking, but it's going around the internet, is that Montreal might offer sheet Sergachev in the offseason. So, it comes full circle. So, it's a trade that is still not really. It could turn around. Jonathan Drouin is still kind of, I don't know. It could really be a great player, and he'll show us from here on in, like the guy we had that we saw the first 19 games of the season, or it could be up and down and blah blah blah, and it's not really the same value. So it's still a trade that can be judged differently in another couple of years, but I still think it's number 5 on this list. I think if you're thinking of offer sheeting a guy you traded, you might have made a mistake trading him. Next one up is a guy that the reason he's on here, I never liked this guy. He was a Habs killer. When he came here, he did nothing. So that was December 9th, 2011. We got, it was with Carolina, but he was a long-time Toronto Maple Leaf. We got Thomas Caberlet, who would always score and seemingly important goals against us whenever we played Toronto. And then he came here after being traded to Carolina. And I think he did okay in Carolina, but he came here, and it was like, I don't even know the words to get out to say how bad it was, but I hated him, and he just never did anything here. And we gave up Yaroslav Spacek, who, I mean, not a great player, who was here for a couple of years because we got him. Spacek was one of those 5 guys in 2009, that new guys that came in. So we gave him Spacek, who was a decent defenseman, to get Caberlet, who did nothing. And I'm not sure if that was a, what year was that? 2011. I don't know if that was a Bob Gainey trade or a Pierre Gauthier trade, but I didn't like it. Number 3. Probably the meanest trade ever. That's what I wrote here. January 12th, 2012. During a game, I don't know if they were actually playing Calgary, but a trade with Calgary in between periods 2 and 3, I think, of a game. So I wrote it, the meanest trade ever. We acquired Rene Bourque. He was the big name in it. I'm not going to write the, I'll tell you who it is in a sec. So we got Rene Bourque and Patrick Holland, who we ended up trading with. Never did. I think that's for the AHL, and a 2013 second-round pick. And we gave back, who a lot of Habs fans liked, Mike Camilleri. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. I always get his name wrong. Mike Camilleri and Carrie Ramo, who was a goalie of, and a 2012 fifth-round pick. It was in between the second and third periods. I think it was second and third, not the first second, of a game, and it seems to be it was a mean trade, and I think it's because Pierre Gauthier didn't like that Mike Camilleri was a little outspoken, and Pierre Gauthier was just a mean SOB. I didn't like him. He did not have a good reputation as being a really nice guy, and I don't think he was a really great GM at all, and he was horrible while he was here anyway. With Anaheim, I don't know, but with Montreal, he was horrible. And I just think the meanest trade ever. Because Camilleri could have been a very useful player here, and I don't think that Rene Bourque really did that much here. He was very frustrating, disappointing kind of a player. He had flashes, and yeah, he's a really nice playoff, but he still was a very disappointing player. Number 2 in this list. Number 2, now I know why they traded the guy that they traded from Montreal. It was because it was a cliquey thing. He was doing some, I don't know, he was partying too much, blah, 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 attitude or whatever. They got rid of him. Thing is, he was a really good player, went on to many years of playing, putting up points for Dallas, because we made the trade September 30th, 2006 with Dallas, and we got a totally finished and done and useless, and then he was maybe a decent player in his day, but he was finished when he was here. And I think because Bob Gainey didn't really, I don't know what happened. They traded Mike Ribeiro, Mikey Ribs, who, you know, I mean, he wasn't a great hockey player, but at a time when we needed goal scoring, he was a good offensive player. He put up many points in Dallas. And I just think it was a big mistake, especially, look, if you're going to trade a guy like that. And I understand the reason, but get something back for him, not a washed-up defenseman. I think he was a defenseman, didn't he? So that's number 2. They also gave a 2007 fifth round. No, 2008 sixth round with Ribeiro and got a 2007 fifth round. Now, the number 1, I think everybody knows the number 1 worst trade. Bob Gainey made this trade. And we got, I guess I'm only going to put one name up here. We got Scott Gomez on June 3rd, 2009. Trade with New York Rangers. We got Scotty Gomez, who I liked as a player before this trade. He came in, had 1 decent season, and then 1.5 I think it was 38 games he lasted into the third season, and he had to leave. I don't remember if he left for a while because he couldn't take the stress of how the fans hated him, and then they traded him and whatever. But Scotty Gomez was probably the worst trade, worst trade since 2000, without a doubt, and one of the worst trades ever. And they gave up. That's the thing. They gave up. They got Tom Pyatt and Mike Busto, who was on Busto. Pyatt played a little bit, fourth liner. And they gave up Ryan McDonough. We all know this. But for people who don't, who was a rookie, I'm not even a rookie. I think he was just a prospect at the time, but a really good defensive prospect who turned into captain of the New York Rangers in a few years later, and now playing for Tampa Bay. But a good defenseman. You got Scott Gomez back, and they gave up Chris Higgins. Now, Chris Higgins was a very serviceable, probably, you got to say, third liner with gusts up to second liner, or second liner and sometimes gusts down to third. I don't know how you put it. But a very serviceable hockey player, so you gave up like one really good player and a decent player, and you got back what, though? Tom Pyatt was a fourth liner. Scott Gomez wasn't even, I don't know if he even played like a fourth liner overall while he was there. Just a horrible trade. That's the worst one of all. And there you go. That's my list of the worst trades for the Montreal Canadiens since the year 2000. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And while you're on the way down there to do that, let me know in the comment section whether you agree with these guys. And maybe the order is different how you would put it. And maybe there's some here you don't think. And there's others you would put in here. Let me know in the comment section. Curious to know what you guys think and who you would say were the worst trades that were made by Montreal. So on top of that, while you're down there, if you haven't already, subscribe, ring the notifications bell down there. Going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talking Habs. And if you're interested, there's memberships. I've got memberships now. You can check that out. I'm about to film the first video for the memberships. It's going to go in there, so if anybody joins, there's going to be a video in there already. And I appreciate that, and that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, stay in as much as you can, and keep watching my videos. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.